But shed talk, just us, cogitating the issues and mulling over our thoughts.
Hi guys, and welcome to Shed Talk. It's kind of a mini air ability where I just sit here and talk about a subject around my Benchrest air rifle shooting that's close to my heart, and hopefully the information we can reuse to help new people coming into the sport. And one thing I get asked an awful lot about is what Benchrest air rifle do I need to buy for sub 12 25-meter Benchrest air rifle? Now, it's a massive question, and I need to, hence the title of this video, I need to say it's a lottery. It's an absolute lottery, and I'll try and explain why. What I will say is by buying established brands with a track record, you up your chances of winning that lottery. Now, I don't ever really suggest a rifle to people. What I'd say is this is a good one. People have good results with this and that. You can't guarantee that every rifle's going to be a winner out the box. And that's because, first of all, there's not really any manufacturers make specific Benchrest rifles for our sport. And also the factory releases rifles within a bandwidth of accuracy. Now, you know, that bandwidth and quality control is excellent in most factories, and it allows people to hunt, shoot, and generally do what they need to do with an air rifle. But you've got to remember that 25-meter Benchrest air rifle for sub 12 rifles is the Formula One of the sport, and everything has to be perfect to hit that 2mm bolt. Now, what I would say is, when you're buying a rifle, first of all, you need to look at what your budget is, and then try and choose something within that budget. But I would look at things like the rankings in the UK. Benchrest UK have the official rankings, and on those air rifle rankings are what rifles people use, and see which are the most popular at the higher end of the the rankings, etc. Now, one thing I need to say is when you're buying a rifle, you're buying the potential of you becoming a successful shooter. You can't really buy points. First of all, you've got to set up that rifle. You've got to pellet test that rifle correctly. You've got to practice with that rifle and know that rifle intimately. It becomes part of you. And you've also got to understand the rifle only performs as good as you do as well. Now, I get a lot of people ring me up and say, Matt, I've just done 4K on a rifle and a scope, and I'm not hitting a 250. And it's like, yeah, have you pellet tested properly? And you go, yeah, I've tried a couple of tins of this and that. No, pellet testing properly is hundreds and thousands of pellets until you find the exact brand and batch if you're shooting a brand that needs to use batches. And, pellet size or lube or no lube, it's infinite. But you've got to put the time in and make sure you do that. The rifle only gives you the possibility of good results if you lay down the groundwork. Now, one thing I also want to address about choosing a rifle is, let's say we've looked on the rankings, we see who's doing well, we've looked at what rifles are in our price range, we picked a rifle, we bought it, and we brought it home, and that's probably one of the most exciting things you can do. Putting a scope on it, you buy a good scope, it'll work. Scopes and finicky like rifles on the whole. If you get a good one, they're all pretty much the same for the factory for that amount of money, and you choose your brand and your quality, and you should be okay. It's very, very rare with the modern manufacturing techniques that you get a duff one. So I don't really worry about the scopes. I get the ones I like. For instance, I'm shooting the Falcon Optical Systems X60i Ultra here, 60 magnification. I think it's flat out the best scope you can get in the UK. Just absolutely love it. But anyway, the rifle. I just want to talk about my rifle. So when you bought your rifle, and what a lot of people don't realize is the top, let's say the top handful, top 10 shooters in the UK have some sort of customization to their rifle, from quite basic all the way through to it being shredded like a Formula One car, and it's performing right on the edge, and it has to be regularly maintained to do so. It's very rare that somebody gets a rifle out the box that performs perfect. It does happen, but it's so rare you shouldn't expect it to happen. You should get your rifle with the fact in your mind that you're going to have to put some hours into it, days, weeks, and months. Now, my rifle, people go, it's an Benchrest 9015. I think it's pretty much the best platform you can start with in 25mm Benchrest. This is the high power model. But again, it takes work to get this gun right and get it. This gun has probably won more medals than any other gun at Benchrest UK. Full stop. It's it's been with me nearly 5 years now. I've got 2 other actions, but this is the one I shoot mostly, just purely because of habit. They're all pretty much the same. So just talking about this gun, right up at the front, I'm one of the few people who shoot with a silencer. And you've got to remember, your choice of silencer is just as important as your choice of pellet and gun. You've got to try as many silencers on your gun, because some of them can deteriorate the accuracy and some of them can enhance the accuracy. So I own about 30 silencers, and I'm always looking, if I'm at the club and I see somebody with a different silencer, I always have a go of it if I can on my gun, just to see if there's any difference. So you have to remember, you don't just pop on the first silencer that you like the look of and, expect it to work. What I will say is, a lot of the cheaper brands are the ones that work better than these really flash 200, pound ones, etc. My most disappointing silencer is my most expensive silencer. It absolutely categorically ruins the accuracy. Now, getting onto the barrel here, this only I've had 5 years. I've probably had 4 or 5 competition barrels on it. I'm always searching for that extra 10 in a competition. This isn't set up as an indoor gun where you're looking for 25 X's indoors. I shoot the percentages. X's are great, but if you score 1 point more than somebody, you've won. So I shoot the percentages and go for the 10s. And I like a gun that is predictably on the 10 ring, that I can shoot quickly without over considering my shots and losing the position in the wind pattern. So, the barrel on this is not original. At the moment, it's a Lothar Walther barrel, but I've had factory Benchrest barrels on the original barrel, another Lothar Walther barrel on this. And it's all about just getting those microscopic benefits, the all add up. At the moment, the original Benchrest barrel is performing beautifully on my indoor rifle, and the one I got from the factory. This is one of the 2 I got from Knapworks, and I think it is. I'm finding it hard to put a number on it, but I do feel it's performing slightly better out there in the wind. Now we get to the block, and this is the main thing. And most of the top shooters send their rifles away to a handful of extremely talented tuners in the UK to get their rifles tuned to peak performance. And what does that mean? That means reliability. That means a very low spread within the speed of the pellets coming out the barrel, preferably under 10 feet per second. This gun has probably been tuned and reserviced nearly once a year since I've got it. So it's a constant rolling campaign of keeping it right. Also, I've changed little things on it, like a cock and handle here, just to make it easier when I'm shooting. So there you go. At the moment, we've just looked at the action and the barrel and the silencer, and pretty much everything's customized on here. And you've got to be prepared to, if you want to be at the top, at least consider custom tuning of your rifle. And we've also talked about the scope. Now, what's become a very important aspect of these Benchrest rifles for my friend Tom Jakes and I are these 3D stocks. reprinting it. Now there's a video about these, so please watch it. But what I've found is that with these 3D stocks, they're more stable than our laminate stock in cold and hot. I'm really finding some benefits around the cold weather shooting at the moment. I think that might have helped me at Chippenham last week when I won the Benchrest UK National Championships, because I always tend to struggle in the cold, and that's in a way because the Benchrest is derived from an indoor 6 foot-pound target rifle. So, you know, you could expect that to happen. But at the moment, I think the new laminate stocks stabilize things, and also it's made perfectly to fit me. So this is the level that we're going to. It's not out the box, as you can see. I've even got a custom mech trigger blade on here, which I find gives me that extra sensation when I'm shooting, and there's a video about that as well. So when you're buying a Benchrest rifle, I think you just need to honestly understand you're buying the potential for greatness. The more established and premier brands that you buy, you are buying a bigger chance of getting a good Benchrest rifle. And there are no promises. And whatever happens, and whatever rifle you buy, you still got to put the work in to learn that rifle. That's the most important thing. There's that old saying, isn't it, that's bandied about a lot. Beware the man with one gun, because he knows how to use it. And I really believe that, and that's why I have 3 rifles that I use for competition shooting. They're all the same, because I know I can even tell you what type of humidity is during the day, and the temperature and how it's reacting and what I need to do. I'm that close to this rifle. But remember, just before I sign off here, when you see somebody shooting a top level 25-meter air rifle Benchrest, the chances of their rifle being original and out the box are very limited. Even if they've only just changed the stock, there will be changes at some level. And be prepared to make those changes yourself, and make sure you do these changes incrementally and make data-based decisions. Look at what other people do and look at other people who win, and go on your own journey, because I can guarantee you it will be slightly different how you get to that winning point than how everybody else gets to that winning point. So sorry guys, I've got no real big answers here. I can't say go and buy X rifle and you'll be a champion. It's all about hard work and narrowing those odds down so you can get a lottery win. Until next time guys, remember, get out there and live that airgun dream. And take care, yeah? Bye-bye. Wherever you are.